Welcome back to the Good Dads Podcast. I'm your host, Gerald, Mr. BPOZ, and I have a special guest here with me today. He is a Las Vegas legend, Mr. Harvey Perry, HP. What is going on, my brother? How you doing?
Man, top of the morning, baby. Top of the morning. It is really a true blessing. I definitely appreciate you, man, allowing me to come on and just share with the public.
Oh, no problem, man. I'm so happy to have you on. I've been trying to get you on for a few weeks now, for a few months actually, since like the
All right.
summertime. I've been trying to
Yeah,
get you
yeah.
on, so I'm happy to have you on, man. Just tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me, what's your origin story? Where you come from? Who are you? Introduce us to who HP Harvey Perry really is.
Well, I was born in Louisiana. I was born in Monroe, Louisiana. My family is from Monroe, Winsboro. We originated from the South. We moved here to Las Vegas in 1968. My mother and father and my two older brothers. And then my youngest brother was born here in Las Vegas, man. And this is the place to be. I love it. I've traveled all over the country. And every time I leave, I can't wait to get back. This is the city, baby.
Ah,
I
that's
tell
beautiful.
everybody, man, I tell everybody from the 318 to the 702,
Yeah, that's what's
you
up.
know.
I'm originally from Louisiana as well, from a small town
Okay.
called Oberlin, close to Lake Charles, so about 45 minutes along the 10 from Lake Charles. So that's where I'm from. So
Oh, okay.
a fellow Louisiana on board today. So
My
HP,
country cousin, my
hey, there
country
you go.
cousin. Hey, cuz, my country cousin.
HP, tell me a little. You got kids, right?
Yes, I do. I have
How many
five
kids?
children.
Five children.
I have five biological and two adopted children.
So what got you into to the adoption part of it? How'd you end up adopting two kids?
Well, my wife at the time, one of her relatives was on drugs, and
Mm,
she had a child in the hospital, of course. And they told the family if no one comes pick the child up within 48 hours, the child was going to go into the system.
mm,
So when we were married, and she says, hey, somebody has to do something. I said, well, let's go get the child. So we got the child right out of the hospital, and her sister was living with a relative, which her sister was 2 years old. So we wanted to keep them together. So we adopted the two children. So that's how we ended up with the adoption, and I raised them. Daddy daughter donut day dances, the whole bit. Didn't treat them any different from my biological children. I love them dearly, and they love me as well.
right, that's awesome. And how's your relationship with your children now?
My relation with my children is fantastic, man. It's unbelievable. We have a very, very good relationship.
Mm.
You know.
And then, so you've had the opportunity to raise seven children. Tell me what's the one thing that if you were able to go back in time and tell the younger version of HP, give him a little bit of advice in parenting, what would you tell him?
To be patient and to understand that your children do have your DNA and your characteristics, but they have their own identity, and to allow each one of them to grow into who they are today. I was a little stern. You're going to do it this way. Things of that nature. But what I learned is that they are individuals as well, and they have their own mind, and to
Mm,
allow them to grow and be, the beautiful people they are today.
that's awesome. I can 100% relate to that. Like I have my oldest son is 23 years old, and the version of me that raised him was similar to you, stern, very do what I say immediately
Right.
with no with no grace period. um and I can attribute that to my time in the service. I went right into the Marine Corps 6 days after I graduated from high school. So my adulthood was spent in the military, and that is essentially what I brought home every day was this just militant style of parenting. What what were the what were the things going on in your life that led to you being so stern when they were young? And then what has happened over time that has taught you that you need to be a little bit more patient and give them a little bit more grace?
Well, first of all, let me share the age. My oldest son will be 39 in the next couple of weeks, and my youngest child is my daughter. She's 15. She just turned 15 in July.
Mm,
So the two older children, at the time, I was full-fledged in the streets. I was a
mm,
drug dealer, gangbanger, and my mentality was survival. I had no understanding. There's no instructions to being a parent. And I was just so hard on them, man. I was just so hard on them. There was no negotiations. You know, when you tell them to do it, you mean do it and do it now. You know, no body language. No, no.
yeah,
You better not breathe unless I tell you to breathe.
I
So
understand.
my mentality was totally different, man. You know, like I tell people, man, the devil had me in a full Nelson. I was in the streets. I was in the streets. So just being a parent, uh, it was on the job training. But, you
Hmm.
know, as I changed my way of thinking, I changed my parenting. So
Right.
um,
And
allowed me.
so
Go
what
ahead.
came first? Did you have to change your life to learn the patience, or did you see something in your children that you knew you had to change that ultimately kind of led and fueled the change in your grown up life?
I changed my way of thinking. I renewed my mind.
Mm,
And as it comes to parenting, I had two great parents. My dad died, passed away about 8 years ago. And I just
rest in
took on
peace.
their foundation. I just took on the foundation of my parents, man. And things just worked out well. You know, my kids went to college and things of that nature. And I just changed my way of thinking.
Mm,
And, you know, so that helped me started me becoming a better parent.
that's awesome. So what was your relationship prior to his passing? What was your relationship like with your father?
My pops, I call him pops. Pops did not agree with any of my activities in the streets.
Mm,
But he taught me something. He never let go of me. When I would go over there, he would always sit down and talk to me. And my dad was a man's man. He worked a 9 to 5, and when he got off work, he did everything. Man, I seen my dad put an engine in the car by itself in 3 days, take it apart, put it together. He was a man's man. On the
mm,
weekend, he did whatever he could to provide for his family, and that's what he instilled in me. Me and my father had an awesome and an unbelievable relationship, and what he lacked in education, if I'm correct, I believe he only went to the 8th grade, but he instilled manhood, be a provider, put a roof over your kid, feed, clothe, and just take care of the household was number one. So,
mm. That's awesome. That sounds like a heck of a role model to have in your life. And I think some of the misconceptions that we have is that if you come from a two-parent household, or if your father was in the house, then that like automatically like shields you from the streets, so to speak, as if the environment in which we live, in which we're trying to raise our families in, doesn't have a huge impact. So talk to me a little bit about how your dad was able to know that you were in the streets, not necessarily snatch you from the streets, but be patient enough to allow you to get up off the streets when it was your time.
well, he never judged me. He always displayed. And then my father wasn't the person who he wasn't a man that used the word love. He
Mm,
he expressed it, and he never let up off of me as of developing and becoming a man. And he just allowed me to stumble. And even upon my incarceration, he never left my side. And it was just a wonderful experience to experience unconditional love, you know. And like you said, I had to leave it to Beaver situation. I didn't want for nothing. I used to open my refrigerator and move stuff out the front to see what's in the back. So by having a mother and father in the household, I made a choice to live that street life because I didn't see it. My mother's been in the same church since 1968. So I had a spiritual foundation. I seen a worth ethic. Did mom and dad get into it every now and then? Yes, of course. That's that's human nature. But for the most part, I didn't see any violence. I didn't see any abuse of drugs. Did my dad drink every now and then? Yes. Eventually stopped. But I didn't see any of the negativity
Mm.
that people connect together with someone being involved in the streets. No, I made a choice. You know.
So how did that choice come about? So how did you end up and find yourself in the streets? Because I know for people who don't know and haven't listened and don't know who you are, like we're not talking about some run of the mill gangbanger or street thug on the corner just kind of causing a ruckus. We're talking about someone who was very well organized and had a lot of, I don't want to call it clout or anything like that, but like had a lot of sway in that community. Coming from the household that you came from, what how did you end up in the streets from that environment?
I'm just fascinated, man. Fascinated by the lights. I went to school with some people who parents owned hotels. So I was exposed to things that the normal inner city person wasn't exposed to. In 1984, I was riding around in a 1984 Bentley.
Mm,
Um, when you walked out of my friend's house, Gladys Knight lived over here, Liberace lived over there. The first time I ever flew in a plane was a private plane. So I was addicted to that lifestyle and I wanted it. And I seeked it from selling drugs. And wasn't just a gangbanger, I was a high level gangbanger. I actually created a gang. So I have a lot of blood on my hands, man. There's a lot of brothers and sisters who have been incarcerated behind something that I created.
mm,
Uh, there's some young men that are even unalive because of my way of thinking, and they looking up to the big homie, so to speak.
mm,
So, and this was from like 82 to 88. Then I got incarcerated in 88. And upon my release in 90, um, first of all, when I got incarcerated, I learned immediately that what I was doing was wrong because I was in a situation where all the guys that I was feuding with, we were in one cage. And so I realized that, oh, I don't like you because your parents purchased a house in another neighborhood, because you grew up over here, because you lived on this street. Oh, because you prefer to wear red. I don't
mm,
like you. But, I realized right away that we're all in the same situation. When a brother needed a soup and I would give someone, I gave this one brother a soup, he was a blood. I seen he didn't, wasn't, he didn't have anything. And once we got to talking, he became one of my best friends to this day, man. So I realized right away that, that the gang life and things of that nature was not for me. But I used my influence upon my release. In 1990, January, I started working in the community as a volunteer with different nonprofits. Then in 93, I created my own nonprofit called the I Care You Foundation, which dealt with student athletes. And I've traveled the country educating young men and women on the process of getting to college. Not now, but back then, we had so many young men and women that would go to college, leave the house, leave the nest for the first time. And because they wasn't used from being away from their home, their parents, and their environment, they would come back after the first semester. So what I did with my nonprofit during the summer, probably age of 13, 12, 13, 14 years old, I would go to various colleges around the country and we would be on a program, a schedule, a college schedule, get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, activities, see the city, go to the dorm. Well, we actually lived in the dorms. So, a lot of young men and women, I believe that I've helped uh, give them the inspiration to go to college and the experience of being away from their home.
That's awesome. I know that you're so far removed from that old life of yours. And I also know that you mentioned just a little while ago that, there's a lot of blood on your hands. How do you rectify some of that? And is a part of the giving back that we know now in our community as HP, higher power, right? We know that that's now a part of this giving arm of who you are now. How much of that guilt from your previous life goes alongside this current work and initiative that you're doing now? Because you're just as hardcore in the paint for the current things that you're doing as you were back then.
Oh man, holding back tears, man. Wow. This was instilled from my parents. So when people see me and they say you changed, I says, no, I have not. I am who my mother and father raised me to be.
Mm,
I just been released from the belly of the beast.
mm,
The devil had me in a full Nelson, man, had me in a headlock. I worked for the devil. There was a bunch of time in my life I woke up every day to do harm to a fellow black man.
mm,
And upon my release, um, I found that I have to do something. I have to give back. It started off with just coaching a couple kids, man, and then my son became one of the top players in the country. And so people start, they see my son developing. So people start bringing me one kid, two kids. Next, I got like 5, 6 teams. I'm coaching, training, mentoring, uh, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 kids, man. And I'm walking in my purpose. A lot of people are going to leave this planet not knowing why they were here. And I'm walking in my purpose, man. I've been shot 6 times. I actually have a bullet on my spine right now, and I was nicked right between the eyes, man. And people say you're lucky. I said, nah, brother, I'm blessed, and God left me here, and He wakes me up every day, and He gives me information, and I just push sin, man. I'm a servant. I'm a servant of the Most High. I wake up every day. How can I help someone? How
mm.
can I help someone? And a lot of times I don't even have it, but I find it. My there was a time that my rent was due and somebody else rent was due, and she was like, "Yo, I don't get paid till Friday. They're gonna, I'm gonna have late fees. I can't afford it." I trusted that person. I gave them my rent money on a Wednesday, and by the grace of God, they gave it to me on Friday. And my mom said, "Why did you do that?" I said, "Because of you, Mama. I was gonna find a way. I'm good." You know what I'm saying? Like when cats say that they're a hustler, see, hustling don't mean selling drugs, man. A real true hustler get up every day. How can I make a difference in my life as well as others, man? That's a real servant. You know what I'm saying? I'm the person that, I seen this lady, she was in a older white lady, car broke down, flat tire. I said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" "Oh, I have a flat tire." She was nervous, of course. My husband's friend is on the way. Man, by the time he pulled up, that thing was bop, 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 bop. She couldn't believe it. And she offered me some money. I said, "Ma'am, there's no way. I cannot take anything from you because if one of my daughters, my mother car broke down, I would want somebody to do the same thing." I will finish with this, man. Bad things happen to good people. But if you throw that positive boomerang out, it's going to come back, man, in a positive way and hit you. God continues to bless me, man. People say they have faith, but you don't, until it's tested, man. I'm thankful. I'm grateful, man. I'm blessed.
And that's awesome. Like you are filled with bars, single bars. You got a lot of them, and I love them. I mean, how you carry yourself, how you speak, the passion that you always show up with, uh, it exudes from you, and you can't help but catch it when anytime you're around you. And I've had the opportunity to be around you a handful of times, and you've definitely impacted me and infected, so to speak, how I operate, what I believe is important, as well as one of my favorite things that you have ever said. You know, know where I'm going with that. Is this notion about making sure that you do the work. I think your quote was making sure that your video matches the audio. Tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about how important the work is for what you're currently doing in the community and for yourself. Because I see you on Facebook, you're posting at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, beckoning the community to get up and get their health together. You've been in the gym, getting your body together. Like, tell me where that comes from, that internal fortitude that you have and how you're currently using it.
It's been instilled with me, man. I started push-ups, sit-ups at 11 years old. By the age of 13, Christmas, my brothers and them, they wanted bikes and skateboards and stuff of that nature. I wanted some weights. My mom went to Kmart, got that 175-pound cement weight with the
Yep,
little
yep.
wheat bench. And I'm telling you something, bro. About the age of 14, I was walking around with chest and arms, no legs. about to about to tip over, right? I just got fascinated because I saw these two young men across the street from me. They were older, like 6 years older than me, and I watched them lift weights. And so it was fascinating. I seen them putting more weights on the bar, and I'm seeing them getting bigger and developing. So that's what I wanted, man. So I've never been out of shape in my life. And then in 2011, I got into juicing. And then I started studying, self-educating myself on juices and herbs, and I started studying the food industry, big pharma, pharmaceutical. I started getting addicted to knowledge, and I was going crazy, man, finding about they lied to us. It's all marketing and advertising, because we're the only species on the planet that consumes another animal's dairy. We shouldn't even be consuming dairy, man. But I'm not gonna get too deep in that because people don't want to hear that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a joke when I come to my parents' house, my brothers and people be over there, be like, "What's in that bag?" I said, "No, man, I don't want to kill you, man. This stuff healthy." You know what I'm saying? You know, but but to really get into the question, into the question, man, is that I'm so tired of people talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm a walking billboard, you know what I'm saying? And I tell people your audio and your video have to be in line. We got so many people, man, who say this, but they do this and they live a certain way, and it's not true. So for me, every day that the good Lord wakes me up and gives me an opportunity to open my eyes, I'm going to post something. It's something, it's spiritual. I post spiritual, inspirational, motivational, and I want our community to be more health conscious, man. I've been to 17 funerals this year, 2024, and 10 of them have been people 65 and under who died from poor health. My brother, which was 54, died in February for poor health, of years of abuse, of just what he was consuming and putting in his body, not exercising, diet, alcohol, drugs, and things of that nature, man. Because people got to understand that the animals are not the same of 100 years ago. They're injecting who knows what into these animals. They're making chicken. They're making fish. The FDA, CDC, the pharmaceutical companies are in cahoots, man. There's more profit. There's profit over people. They make this man-made salmon, and what they did is they put it into the salmon farm, and they start eating up the salmon that was in the farm. And then by law, the restaurants and the stores don't have to tell you that it's man-made. Like you could go to a farm and get fresh beef,
Mhm.
and you can put it in your refrigerator, and the color is totally different from what's in these local stores.
That's 100%
And
true.
100% true. Then it has an expiration date. If you put that meat in your refrigerator fresh from a butcher, what, 5, 6, 7 days maybe in your refrigerator, but you can be in a store and it be in there for weeks.
Right.
So we have to be conscious of that, man, and just self-education. And I tell people, the ones that I don't even know, that I love you. I
Mm-hmm.
want you around here, and it's so important for someone like yourself, as a father, loving, caring father, to be here for your children, your grandchildren. I want to leave a legacy of health,
Wow.
for the ones I want to even meet. Your great grandfather was this.
Mm-hmm.
When you know what I'm saying. At my 50th birthday party, I got the mic, and guess what? I invited everybody to my 100th birthday party. I said, if you can make it, and I dropped the mic. I tell my kids it's a joke; they don't like it. I said at 12:01, I'm gonna pass away. You know what I'm saying? Live
so
to
so
100.
so at your 50th birthday party, you
Yes.
told everybody you're all cordially invited to my 100th anniversary party. Get your butts in the gym, start eating healthy to make sure that you can get there.
Shots fired.
Pew 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 pew.
Pew pew pew. Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
hey, everybody should be
yeah,
doing. If you heard it here, you
yeah.
need to invite people to your. If you want to motivate people to get healthy, invite them to a party 30, 40, 50 years out, and tell them that they need to be in shape in order to be there. That's how you do it.
That's right. That's right. And then when I tell people, it's quality,
Hmm.
not quantity of life for me. I'm sorry. I
Right.
don't want to be. I don't want to be like my grandfather lived to be 92 years old, but hell,
Hmm.
for the last 5, 6 years, he was bedridden and legally blind.
Right.
I don't want to, my dad told me before he even got 6 years ago, he says, listen, man, if I can't take care of my wife, which is my mom, and if I
Right.
can't help you and your family, don't be selfish, let me go.
Yeah.
And he told me, he says, I don't want to be laying in the damn bed and y'all talking over me and I can hear y'all, but I can't respond.
For real.
That's not living, son. That's surviving.
That's what I told my kids too. I tell my kids all the time, hey, if I can't wipe my own butt, feed myself, then let me go. Because I don't have no point in being here, being a burden to anybody else. It's just not how I'm built.
Uh-oh.
It's not
Don't be
how I was raised. You know what I mean? I feel like I've been here. I've been here, and I'm supposed to be here to be a contributor. And if I'm no longer contributing, then I
mm,
100% would be ready and willing to go on to my next stop.
preach.
That's
Preach, brother.
100%.
Preach, brother. I don't want to be a bill, a burden to
Right.
someone, man. And like when people pass away, we sad and things of that nature. But I speak for a lot of people, man, who have gone on. Live your
Hmm.
life, travel. My father wanted me to be a better husband. I'm not married right now, ladies, but a better husband. I got a campaign, baby, every chance I get.
There you go. Like,
Uh,
hey, his all of his contact information will be linked in the description.
yeah. Um, Boy, you fun. But man, it is so important to me, about health, man, living a quality lifestyle, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when I walk up to the top of the mountain, I want to be able to look down and walk down. And when I'm at the bottom, I want to physically be able to walk up, man. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
100%.
So we don't know. We don't know when our numbers call, but I'm gonna do what I need to do on the planet. My earthly duties is to be in the best shape humanly possible. Like I have grandkids who are athletes. Like when I throw my grandson to football, I ain't boy, bring me that ball. When he catch that joint, Paw in the stands, I'm finna run a flat. I'm going alone. You know what I'm saying? You know,
So
so
I'm going deep. I
so
still got it.
yeah, yeah, I still got it. I'm playing one on one. I coach college basketball. I be playing one on one with the players. I'm
Hmm.
59 years old. I be like, check up, So I still take one on one phase on the court.
For
Yeah.
real.
So man, health is very important, man. I don't want to be wealthy without being healthy. So
Oh,
I'm
that go
sorry.
another
I'm
bar.
sorry.
Another
I'm
bar.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't
I'm
want to be
sorry.
I don't want to be wealthy if I'm not healthy. And we know that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
one thing in life that you absolutely have to work for. It's not something that you could buy. It's not something that you can get. It is something that you actually have to put the time and work and effort into. You have to educate yourself. You have to do the things that you're educated about. on a consistent basis is one of the only things in life that you cannot purchase. You can purchase the outward look of it, but you cannot get the proof on the inside that you have been putting in the work. I believe that health and wellness is so important and such an underrated component of what being a good dad is, because being a father isn't just raising them from birth till 18 when they graduate high school and go on. It's about being a good dad when they're going through and they're growing up and they start to have children, and being a good dad to support your children being fathers to their own children and showing up as a grandparent, and on and on and on. And you need your health in order to do that. Do not sell your dad journey short because you don't want to take care of yourself on the day to day. Part of my self care program is the P part. It's PMF. That's physical self care. That is taking care of your body along with your mentals and your financial. You have to take care of your body. It is the foundational piece for any type of success in life. And I love how you discussed how important health and wellness is to you, because a part of your job is health and wellness, right? You alluded to it a little while ago that you coach basketball, but you're not just an AAU basketball coach or a youth basketball coach. You coach college basketball, and
Yes.
you're the only college basketball coach who has been formally incarcerated. Tell me a
In the
little
state of
bit of
Nevada.
in
Yes.
the state of Nevada. Tell me a
Yes.
little bit about how important and impactful that story is when you show up to work in your coaching role and duties.
Well, like I said, in 1990, I started coaching, working with the kids in the community, started my nonprofit organization. And I just fell in love with basketball, man. And again, I started working with some of the players here in town, started developing. I've had my hands on countless of women and men, young players, developing training, but I'm more of a mental person. What I specialize in is when the ball stops bouncing. That's what I focus on. And I make sure that they understand that they are a student athlete. And so when you're working with these young people, man, you have to let them know that they have to take care of their bodies.
Hmm.
People take better care of their automobiles and their pets than they do their own bodies. The same thing as your body, you got to flush, you got to rotate your tires, you got to change your oil, baby. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so important, man. And I've been doing it for a long time. And actually, I was at Doolittle Community Center, and this young man, he came in there for about a week. I kept seeing him, and we started talking. And he was leaving the college, and I said, "Hey, do you want to continue to play?" And he says, "Yes." And I called a couple of friends who are Division I college coaches, and one of them is, well, he's actually a scout for the Brooklyn Nets, Anthony Brown. I called him, and he says, "Hey, man, why don't you put the kid down at CSN?" So I took two players down there on a Thursday, and coach offered them a scholarship. And I said, "Hey, coach," it was like 8, 9 players in the gym. I said, "Hey, man, do you mind if I talk to him for a minute?" And I gave him the HP spiel about, life is about choices and opportunity, making positive choices and taking advantage of opportunities. And he liked what I said to the kids. And he said, "Hey, man, would you like to coach?" And I was like, "Well, coach, I'm an ex-felon." He says, "We'll get around that. You didn't kill anybody." I was like, "No, not on my knowledge." Then he looked at me. I was like, "Man, I'm just playing. I'm just playing." You know what I'm saying? So that's how I became a college coach. And a lot of people didn't know this, man, and that I am the first college coach in the state of ex-felon college coach in the state of Nevada.
Wow.
And 2 years ago, my first year, this is my third year. So my first year we played in Arizona, and we was on ESPN too. So I sent out this mass text to my friends and family. I said, from the pen to ESPN, baby. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm sitting in my office now at the
Yeah.
school. So we have a lot of meetings in here, and I even have, I tell people from the block to the boardroom. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And I just love to be an example of change. And I'm going into the field of speaking, and I don't look at myself as a motivational speaker. I say an inspirational speaker. And one of my goals is to go back to the prison, Indian Springs, where I was first incarcerated at, and speak to the young men there and give them hope. You know, I'm gonna walk right in and say 26550. Give them that back number. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so, man, I'm just so inspired, to wake up every day and just be a light and an influence to others, man. And that's why I say I know I'm a walking billboard,
mm,
and that's why every day that I make sure that my video and my audio is in line. I'm not a perfect person. I'm still working on myself to be a better person every day. And I feel that if each individual work on their selves and stop looking in others' backyard, that's how you make the world a better place, man. If you work on you, I work on me, and the next person keep and continue to work on each other, that's how the world becomes a better place, man. um, i I have an opinion on everything, but I will not get into an argument or a discussion, a debate over politics, religion, and sexual preference,
mhm,
because those are three of the biggest separation of the world today. um, i I believe I'm very open-minded, and the key to me is I respect your differences. I might not like it. I might not agree with it, but I'm going to respect who you are and who you trying to be. And if I can help you and assist you with becoming a better person, hey man, I'm a phone call away.
man. That's a whole lot right there. I mean, you need a podcast first off, and I told you this a little while ago. You need a podcast straight up, and I
All
look
right.
forward. I look forward to helping you put that together
Okay. Okay.
because you have you. The thing is that and here's the I believe first off I believe everybody should have a podcast and a way to, get some of the things that they think about, talk about on a consistent basis off and out into stories into the world because everyone's point of view and everyone's perspective has value somewhere, and we just need to find the people that it has value for, and the only way to do that is to get it out as often as possible. So what better place than to have a podcast where you can say how you feel, what you think, and your perspective every single week about all the topics that matter to you. You need to have a show just because it's not just because you have an opinion. You need a show because your opinion has been boiled down and is, I don't want to say completed, but you're able to look back at your past now and see it as a part of the steps for the story. You know what I mean? And I've been doing what I've been currently doing for about 3 years. And it's taken a lot of different iterations. It, a long time ago, I was in the fitness industry. Uh, I got a bachelor's degree in public health, and a master's degree in health science, and I thought I was going to do all of this stuff in the fitness industry. I sat on all the boards for all of the certifications. I taught at the highest levels in college for all of this content, realizing that I'm really just learning information to share with other people about how to be better individuals. That my
Wow.
true passion and my true desire was to be a better person. And then the reason for that was because of my children, because I felt that they were innocent and they didn't need to take casualties for me not being in control of my life. And I know that you were incarcerated early on. Were you a father already when you were incarcerated?
Yes, I had my two older children. My son was born in 85, and my daughter was born in 87.
Mhm.
And I went to prison July of 88.
And
And
has there been any remnants of your old self on your kids?
uh, no, I made sure upon when I was released that they would not experience what I experienced. I am very, very transparent with my children,
Mhm.
and the ones after them, they were blown away when I told them this story, of how violent I was. People got to understand that I'm very open about my past because I believe transparency changes lives.
Mm.
I was
100%.
I was very, very, very violent. You know, out there on the streets. Drug dealer, high level gang banger, high level drug dealer, and a womanizer. I didn't respect women. You know, um, I was a monster.
Mm.
And it's just amazing how sometimes I look back and I can't believe some of the things that I was involved in or the things that I stood for. And through having a praying mother and by the grace of God, that I am even sitting here today. I could have been unalived or spent many, many years in prison, because
Mm.
of some of the decisions that I made. Because shortly after me being released in 1990, um, I went and picked my children up, right out, as soon as I got out, my two oldest children, stayed with me 2, 3 days, took them home, pick them up, stay a week, took them home, pick them up, took them home. About the third or fourth time I picked them up, they stayed with me. It wasn't a court order. The mom was not on drugs or anything like that. Um, it just happened that way, man. So I was a single parent for
Mm.
6.5 years, easily raising my two children with help of my mother and father. And then if I was in a relationship, I got help from that. But I was the primary parent. And my daughter has long, thick hair. And growing up, you watch your aunties and people doing hair. So I didn't have any money, man. So I had to learn how to comb hair.
Mm.
And it got to the point that I got very, very good. The lines, all the barrettes, and everything. And I'm gonna kind of go a different, say something else. One of my friends, we were walking the other day. We walked Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, early in the morning, 5 miles. And he was telling the other guys about how I taught him how to comb hair.
Mm.
I was the first out of my immediate circle, was the first one to have children. So the guys who came behind me, man, and they watched me be a parent. And my friend back in the day with the beeper, he put 911 in the beeper. I'm from the streets. 911, that's a go. I'm like, yo, what's up? What's going on, man? Hey, man. I said, what's going on? I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. I got my daughter. Uh, I got to take her back to the mama house, my two house. I need you to do me a favor. I was like, what? He said, can you come comb my hair? So I learned things, man. I learned how to dress. I kept my kids fresh and things of that nature. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So I learned how to be a better parent. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, me and my kid's mom, we got back together. I got married. So again, like I said, I was in the streets. Excuse me, I was in the streets, and I got a phone call from my brother, and he was like, "Yo," I was like, "What's going on?" He said, "Man, you need to get to the house." I was like, "What's going on?" He said, "There's a lady saying that her child is yours." So when I got when I got there in front of the house, I looked at the child, and she looked like my relatives, from the Perrys from Louisiana, little chocolate. She's my
Mm.
darkest child. I call her my beautiful black princess. And make a long story short, tried to. I took her in the house. My mom was on the phone, and she looked. Who baby is that? I said, Mom, there's a lady outside. She said it's mine. She said she looked like them Perrys down south. That's that's your baby.
Mm.
That's an unofficial blood test, mama,
Yeah,
right?
unofficial. That's
Unofficial.
if you're not from the
Yeah,
country or the hood,
yeah,
then
yeah,
you have no idea what we talking about. But
yeah,
back in
yeah,
the day,
yeah,
all I had to
yeah.
do was find a relative with the
Yeah.
same nose as someone
Pick
who
the.
said that it was yours, and Granny gonna tell you it's yours.
Hey, listen, give me that baby. Pick the baby up, look the baby in the face, turn the baby around, gave you back
Mm-hmm.
the baby, and said, "That's your baby."
Yep. And you believed it
And
too.
so when he got a blood test, she's mine.
Mm-hmm.
She's mine. Wow. So did all that. Mom was having some issue. I changed the baby's name, got my last name, had some issues. Took the mom to court, and I got custody of her, man.
Mm.
So now I'm a single parent again.
Wow.
Now I'm a single parent again, brother. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been a single parent twice. And so I say that to say this to all the deadbeat dads out there. I don't support you, bruh. If you don't take care of your own, you cannot tell me you're not seeing your child. You are talking to a man who got custody of his child. And when a man get custody of a little girl, that's big. That's huge, man. I got custody of a female. So even though you might only see your child once, if you go to court, if you enforce your rights, there's no way in heck that you're not going to be able to see your child unless you got something going on.
Mm.
Well, the courts feel that he or she is not safe. So you can't tell me she won't let me see my baby. Let me take my glasses off. You a lie.
I'm co-signing that too because I
And
was
I
in the same
stand on
boat.
it. I
I was in this.
stand on that.
I'm in the same boat. I'm doubling down. Let me co-sign that one because my daughter was. I had my daughter right before I was 21. So I had my daughter at 20 years old before I went to because I turned 21 in Norway. I've had my daughter. I've had to split time, so I wasn't a single father. I'm not gonna give myself all the credit. I split time. I had to co-parent with my daughter's mother, and I seen her on a consistent basis, 3 to 4 days a week, every week of every single year until now. She's 20 years old. The only time that I didn't see her for a long period of time is because she was in Reno for college. That's the only time. So I haven't seen her recently as much as I'd like to because she's a grown up. But prior to that, every week, and I'd fight for more time if I could. I'd take more time if I could. So no, there is no excuse for not being there for your child because that's what they need. They need you. And it's one of the things, without being being fully transparent too. It's one of the things that I'm upset about my dad about, my own father, right? Is that my father, although I believe he is a good man, I believe that he has done right by me, but he has four other kids that I can't actually say that he's done right by them. And he only has done right by me because I sought him out. So I hope that it is, and I've seen the impact of him not being around on my other siblings, that I can't fathom how anyone can have a child that needs you and decide to not be there at all. So I
Wow.
100% I double down with exactly what you said. Full disclosure, I love my father, but that's one thing that he definitely dropped the ball on, and it's one thing that I remember, and it's one of the things that I've actively tried not to do. It was the number one thing that I had decided as soon as I found out that I was going to become a father, is that I was going to be up her butt in a way that my father never was for anyone. Because somebody can tell you that they love you all the time, somebody can tell you that they care about you, but to use your words, your audio has to match the video, and you can't tell me you love me if you don't do the love part, because love
Right.
is an action word. So I
Right.
appreciate you for bringing that out, because sorry, I'm getting off my high horse now, off my little step, but yeah, that's a huge deal for me, because I believe that the role of a father is so impactful, is so important in our communities. We need more fathers to step up, And I know that is a huge initiative that you have right now currently on your docket. I seen your t-shirt. It says Fatherhood on it. And we spoke earlier and you were telling me how you have an opportunity to possibly bring a fatherhood organization to the community. Tell me a little bit about that organization.
Um, the fatherhood, the name of the foundation is the fatherhood is the only hood,
Mm.
and what focus is bringing fathers, reconnecting them with their siblings, with their children. We have so many absent fathers out here in the world. And the organization, the foundation was started by a very good friend of mine. His name is Brian Womack. He's actually related to Bobby Womack.
Hey,
They actually just left this morning. They've been in Vegas for the last 3, 4 days. And they're so excited to come here to partner with me and bring their program here to Vegas. And it is strictly focused on building the Black man back up, building the community back up with men connecting with their youth, because it's so important that these fathers are involved in their children's lives. And they're based out of Tacoma, Seattle.
mhm.
Excuse me, Seattle, yeah. And
Washington.
actually, Washington, and they're actually there's a program actually in Sweden, because
Hmm.
one of his brothers is based in Sweden, and they're all over the West Coast. They're branching out all over the West Coast, and they want to come here to Vegas. They are coming here to Vegas, and I think the program is going to be so impactful for our city, focusing on men being involved in their children's lives and being involved in the community as one, as a group, like as what we do, how we met at a men's meeting,
Right.
and we continue to meet, and letting people know that we're involved, that black fathers do exist, that we
Hmm.
are involved. We are concerned about what's going on in the Clark County School District. What's going on out in our streets and just in our community. Period. So I'm very excited for what I'm saying, Fatherhood Foundation reaching out to me, and on a joint venture and bringing this unbelievable program uh, to the community. You can actually look it up yourself, fatherhood.org. And and I'm very excited, man, to partner with them.
That's awesome. And I'll put the link in the description, in the show notes as well for you to check out more information and more resources
Yeah.
on that. And I look forward to you bringing that program to the city as well. And hopefully I could be involved and support you in doing that. However I can, because I'm all for the community and I'm damn sure all for dads. So,
Yeah.
whatever I can do to be of assistance, please loop me in on that if you'd like. I'd be more than happy to be a part.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. You've been super good from, as they say, man, you've been A1 from day one. You know what I mean? You can't shake me, baby. You know what I mean? Got the double-sided tape.
For
You know what
sure.
I'm saying?
For
You can't
sure.
shake me, man. Yeah, I'm in, man. I'm in, man. I really appreciate you. And I really love what you're doing, man. It's unbelievable. It's phenomenal. And you are calling men to action. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it. Goes back to what I was saying about being in line with the audio and the video, brother. And I'm so proud of you. And that's what you're doing, man. You are a walking billboard. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
appreciate it.
I'm so blessed to say you my guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
my
appreciate
guy. It's my guy. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah, yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that for real. I
yeah.
appreciate that for real. So tell me, like, give me the scoop. Tell me, how can we get in contact with you? How can people reach out? How can they find out more about what you're doing? Your basketball teams and everything that you have your hands in the community. Let us know how we can connect with you and support you.
I'm on Facebook as Harvey Perry Senior. I'm also Instagram, the @ HP702LV. You can also pull it up by my name, Harvey Perry Sr. And I'm also embarking at the beginning of the year as a speaking career. That's where God is leading me to, is to get out here and tell my story, share my story, working on some merch right now. The book is coming soon,
Yeah.
things of that nature. And man, I'm just excited, man. I got some pots on the stove, man. I got a few things simmering,
Podcast is
and
coming.
yeah, okay, the pot to the cast. We're gonna call it, yeah, okay. Authentic, organic HP, man.
There
I'm
you go.
excited, and I just want the audience to know that I'm so available, I'm accessible. My personal direct hotline is 702-583-9550. If you have any situations, juveniles, teenagers that need to sit down and talk to someone like myself, man, I have a lot of experience. Um, One of my specialties is gang intervention, so I give it to them real, I give it to them raw, I give it to them uncut. And I tell them about, I fast forward the thing, man. I tell them about the results. A lot of these cats, they highlight, they glorify the gang life, but they don't tell them about when you're doing time, your family doing time.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? You calling, blowing up the phone bill, $300-400 a month, but then you want them to send you $50-60
mm.
so you can, saying, so you can buy some damn cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? And and that's what they got to understand, man, that there's so many tough guys that's in prison, that's in the graveyard. And I try to prevent that. You know, um, I don't want you to take your last breath and thought about what I said. I
Mm,
don't want you to think about what I said when the judge hit that hammer and give you 100 years, give you all day, man.
mm,
Um, you know, um, that's the life that I live right now, man. My purpose is to enlighten our young people about the gang life, drugs, and just doing the right thing, man. Just doing the right thing, being an entrepreneur, go to school, get your education. But the most important thing for me is for you to self-educate yourself.
mm,
Self-educate yourself. I'm not going to tell you not to go to school, but you got to get in them books. You got to read those books, man. You got to invest in yourself. The most important thing that you can do is invest in yourself. Seminars,
mm,
workshops. Again, we spoke about it last night at Mariposa, man. It's about people knowing who you are. You have to get around the right people, man. And to change your life, you have to change your playground. And once you change your playground, you'll change your playmates, and then you will eventually change your playthings. And then you will be the person who God made you to be, man.
mm. Yeah. I mean, geez. I mean, full of them, huh? I guess you full of all the sayings. I gotta
Yes.
ask though. I'm trying to be the Joe Rogan of dad podcasts, and you gave your phone
Uh,
number out. So I just want to make sure to be prepared for the millions and millions of people that's going to be looking for you once this releases.
I'm available, baby. I don't cut my phone off.
That's
I don't
awesome.
cut my phone off. I'm open. I'm 24 hours, man, because you don't know um, how impactful you can be to someone.
Mm,
I was in a situation where I was speaking to a room of young men, and one of the young men's sister was there, and she was in tears, and she said how I changed her life by the words that I
mm,
spoke. And then there was a brother. He was from L.A., former gangbanger. He was paralyzed, man. He was in a wheelchair, and he brought his 14-year-old. Um, and he spoke to me afterwards. You know what he told me? He says, "Hey, brother, I needed to hear that."
mm,
So you'll be surprised, man. Smile at people, say hi. You don't know where he or she going. You don't know what's on their mind. You don't know what they're en route to do. By you speaking to someone and even giving out a hug, man, you'll be very surprised how you change somebody's way of thinking. I deter them from hurting themselves and
mm.
someone else, man.
That's
You know
awesome.
what I'm saying? And then it's just funny how people see me and they speak to me. I've been in situations where could have got violent, and I'm talking to myself like this cat don't even know who he talking to. You know what I'm saying? But I had to walk away. My brother was right there, and he was looking at me one day, and it was about to go down. And I told the brother, I said, "Brother, I don't want no problems, brother. You win, blah blah blah." And he was calling me out my name. And when the brother walked off, I looked at my brother. When the gentleman walked off, I looked at my big brother, and he looked at me. He said, "Hey man, you sure have changed." I said, yeah. I said, yeah, because back in the day, it would have been like McDonald's. Ba da ba ba ba. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Had to, got to get
See,
them all a 2 piece, waffle fries, and everything else. Give it
yeah,
all to them,
man.
huh?
Listen, man, a billion served,
I'm with
baby.
it. I'm with it.
Yeah, man. But God has blessed me and continues to bless me. And like I tell people, man, He gives it to me, and I just push sin.
That's awesome. And I do have to correct you. That ain't who you are. That you've already
Per-
been. You are who
Yeah,
you've been called to be. You are just
yes,
acting it out now.
yes.
But you've
That's
always
right. It's
been
just a
that, like you
character.
said
That's just
before,
that
right?
was a yeah, man. That was just a character. You know what I'm saying? And that character doesn't exist. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? This is who I am. This is who my mother and father raised me to be.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
HP, man, I really appreciate you for jumping on and doing my show at such a short notice. It's definitely been, eye opening for me and definitely impactful for how I view the world and how I view myself, how I view my own health, and the things that I have to do. I really appreciate you for jumping on and kicking us with that knowledge, that information that you have at the ready at all times. On the way out, just let the people know on our way out. Anything that you'd like to tell them, any point that you would like to give off as we send out. But I wanted to thank you before we hit the road.
Um, what do I like to leave you with? Focus on the controllable, and when you focus on the controllable, it minimizes the uncontrollable. And the only thing that we can control right now is the right now. And always remember, when you blame others, you live less.
Mm, there we go. Y'all have a great day, good dads.
Peace.